What's going on, y'all, man? So we're back. We read Genesis, just Genesis 1 to 2. Just basically going over the first 7 days, right? We talked about just the creation of Adam and the creation of Eve, and then their first marriage, right? So now we're going to be getting into Genesis 3, which starts with the temptations. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he has said unto the woman, Yet hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Right? So God is just basically explaining to them, like, y'all can eat any other fruit, right? Any other tree, you can eat off that tree, but that tree right there, do not touch that tree, because that's basically the tree of good and evil, that allows you to see good and evil once you eat from it, right? And then as you see, I think it says the serpent, which is Satan, right? He's you good. You can eat from it. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Just feeding the woman nonsense, right? And we have verse 6 that says, And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired, make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou were naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Beguiled means basically pressure, right? So every time I read this verse, it's kind of like funny to me a little bit, because it's like not fun. But you get what I'm saying. But like they ate the fruit, right? And then they were able to see they were naked, right? So they decide to go hide behind bushes in the Garden of Eden, which is like really crazy to me, because like y'all really just sitting there like trying to hide, like hope he don't see us. He the one who made the garden. He made you, so of course he can see where you at. So it's no point of hiding, right? But this is basically where, okay, now we can see good and evil, right? Because they ate that tree, and yeah. So now we have the curse. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. So upon thy belly shalt go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. So what I'm getting from here, maybe back it in, because now it's like it feels like we gotta eat. But then you like you ate something, had fruit, and you were good. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have that sense of hungriness, right, and thirstiness, right, because God always supplied it there for you. And it says, And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall to be thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Right? That verse gets to me while, like, not saying it was right, but you know how like it was like 150 years ago, men were ruling over the women, right? Men were mainly just the providers, and the women would stay home and cook, clean, you know. And if you're just reading this verse back then, you like, okay, men are supposed to do this, right? Men are supposed to be over women because they disobeyed God and made the first man eat from the tree. So when it says that the desire shall be to thy husband and he shall rule over thee, the husband should be the ruler of the family. So you know how people just, like I said, everything is perspective in life. People may took that verse and just took it way too far. You know what I mean? Like, women, y'all under it, you know what I mean? But it's just how you take it, right? So and it says, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground, for more of it waste. I'm sorry if I said that right. Thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. That little inner part gets me to a point where, you know how I was talking in Genesis 1 when they were talking about just the creation of man, creation of Adam, and God created him through dust, right? So God is saying like, okay, now you came here in dust, but now you shall leave in dust. And unto Adam also and his wife did Lord God make coats of skins and clothe them, right? Man sent from the garden, and the Lord God said, behold, the man is become as one of us, know good and evil, and now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. And I actually Googled this term, cherubims. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And it's just basically the angel, right? The basic security for the Garden of Eden, right? But listen, as he's saying all these things here. The thing that really caught my eye was on the 22nd verse. It says, and the Lord God said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil, and now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life. Right, so just another thing about perspective and interpretation, right? I see why people, I mean, not in a cocky way, but you know how some people may call themselves gods, right? And I mean, if that's you reading from the Bible, it says the man has become one of us, because now we can now see between good and evil, right? It wasn't supposed to be like that. Everything was just supposed to be, you know what I mean, aligned. Everything was good, positive, no negative feelings or anything. But now, since we can see the evil, right, it allows us to be one of them, which is a God. And now we're going into Cain and Abel. And God knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of that fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance, I always hate that word, the countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. But Cain is Cain is basically mad that God accepted Abel's gift, Abel's offering, but God really didn't accept his, right? So then we go to the verse 8, and it says, "And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him." I guess Abel, you never know, you know what I mean? Abel may been out there talking like, see, aha, you know, he like mine and he ain't like your, and I don't know what happened, but whatever they were conversating about led to Cain killing Abel, right? And the Lord said unto Cain, "Where is Abel thy brother?" And he said, "I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?" And he said, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground." The curse of Cain. "And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy land, from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. And fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth." We're gonna look up every single thing that I'm confused with, and maybe you guys confused with it as well. But if not, just give me some time. But a vagabond is a person who wanders from place to place without a home or a job. Right. "And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out of this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him." Right, so basically, the Lord is saying, "Listen, I'm not gonna let anybody kill you, but you must wreak punishment from killing your brother Abel." Right. So Cain dwells in the land of Nod, and Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. I hope I'm saying that right. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehuel, and Mehuel begat Mu. This part is always confusing, but we just go for it, right? So Methuselah, and Methuselah begat Lamech. Lamech's descendants. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of one of was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah. And Adah bare Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwell in tents, and as such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my heart. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. So that part, we just hearing like all the descendants of Lamech, basically. So you got the 2 wives and the children that being born from them, being born from him. Birth of Seth. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God said, She hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to the Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Right, so God gave Eve another child, which is named Seth, basically to replace Abel after Cain slew him. So we're gonna stop there for today. So just a little overview of everything that we did. We talked about the temptation. We talked about the fall of man, how they were tempted to eat the fruit, and they fell into temptation, which led to them allowing to be able to see good and evil, And now God says, now you're like one of us. You are a God because you interpretation. You're able to see between good and evil, right? So then Cain murders his brother Abel because he is mad because God, like Abel, gets better. Like, so if we just like just break down that, and then everything else was just God sent Cain to the land of Nod. Now he didn't send him to the land. Cain went to the land of Nod. God turning Cain into a vagabond for as a punishment. And then we talked about Lamech's descendants and the birth of Seth. God moves everything in right timing as well. So don't be envious. Don't be jealous. Love your life and love your path. There's going to be some no's. There's going to be some yeses. But you just got to keep on going. So, but yeah, we're going to keep back on that tomorrow. Appreciate y'all for watching. It's Sirski.